Animation is broken because streamers are cutting back on animated content, and we have some people working in the industry saying that the future of animation is creator-owned independent content. Imagine that.
Shocker. But a lot of people are saying, oh, independents aren't getting paid well. Well, yeah, if you're working for somebody else, I'm saying go do your own thing.
Right. I mean, if you're not going to make money anyway. So we're going to talk about the animation industry being broken right now, which we've been trying to tell you. And we'll talk about people going broke. Now, not necessarily in animation, but I do know, unfortunately, there are a lot of stories like this where the middle class people in Hollywood, which would include a lot of animation people, are being forced to sell their houses and everything because a lot of stuff is not getting greenlit like it was. And that's live action and animation. And I think animation has been hit particularly hard because of how expensive it is and how long it takes to make.
They might have problems with housing prices going up because they had the fires and everything else and things like that. So I think it's probably a multi-layered thing, but still.
Yeah, and it sucks, and people forget about that because they're like, you know, oh, all these Hollywood celebrities are making all this money and whatever. It's like, no, there's a whole economy of people that are like middle class Hollywood people, even lower class, I'd say like below line workers, you know, blue collar people. They're affected by the downturn in Hollywood too.
Yeah.
And, you know, even service industries, you know, caterers and across the board. So the whole economy in LA is basically shit the bed, right? So we'll talk about this. It's all connected. And since we're talking about Netflix, we'll talk about Reed Hastings leaving, which is really interesting. He's leaving the board, but he was a guy who basically launched animation at Netflix. I don't think it's that important. I think all they're going to do now is just buy other people's stuff or license other people's stuff.
Well, he was the co-CEO, so that just means Sarandis is there by himself now.
I think so. Yeah. So it's interesting though, and this is right after the Warner Brothers deal fell through. So yeah, that's a whole mess too. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is CLOWNFISH TV, Reddit's most despised podcast. They hate us.
I think I say Reddit's most beloved.
Yeah, well, there we go.
Reddit's most beloved comedy channel.
So we'll talk a little bit about that. We have something come up with the WGA too, and just it's Hollywood. Look, Hollywood is not in a good place right now, and animation is getting cut. And we've talked at length about so many people that are out of work in animation, and a lot of this stuff was subsidized. It was, you know, they were throwing money at streaming content, at cable TV content, and both cable TV is dead and streaming's on the decline and it's consolidating. So,
well, then you have all these places like Disney, instead of making new anime stuff, they're just making live action adaptations.
Yeah.
Like, that's Fern Gully. They just said Fern Gully.
Oh God, yeah, I know. Action. Why would you do Fern Gully of all the movies?
So why are there no animation jobs? Because
it's called Avatar, right? I mean, didn't we already do that?
Just taking them instead of making more animated movies, they're just like, let's make a live action version.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is coming from where is it from? Variety. Kids animation model is broken as streamers pull back and creators rise. So they're talking about this hoedown they had in Spain. Spain. They said the business model underpinning kids and family animation is under growing strain as the post-streaming contraction collides with declining linear viewership and tighter commissioning. So this is the Future Lab in Spain on Wednesday.
Translation, they greenlit too much shit. And when they thought animation was going to save them, they greenlit too much shit too late. And then it cost them a bunch of money because they picked the wrong stuff too. So they're having to get rid of jobs. And then people aren't watching TV anymore anyway. They're going to watch YouTube.
Yes. They said that this is the message from veteran producers Sherry Gunther Sugarman and Bobby Page, who argue that traditional pathways to market are narrowing just as new creator-led models begin to scale. Translation.
Creator-led model. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just having a moment. Go ahead.
It's almost as if CLOWNFISH TV was right.
This so mad they have the most colorful things to say about us. Anyway.
This conversation, moderated by Carino executive producer Jose Luis Farias, as part of the Future Lab session, paired Sherry Gunther Sugarman, a former producer of The Simpsons, Family Guy, and King of the Hill, now co-CEO of Heboo, with Bobby Page, head of production at Australian indie juggernaut Glitch Productions, and a Warner Brothers animation veteran. Interesting, going from Warner Brothers to Glitch, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Hey, I'm just sitting here like, sit and spin.
The economics of the business are broken, said Gunther Sugarman.
No shit. You don't say.
Yeah. Pointing to a market where fewer buyers are commissioning less content and increasingly only from established IP. What?
I can't believe this. This is insanity.
This is pure insanity.
If only people said this was going to happen.
They sound like alt-right Nazis. I can't get my Tumblr cartoon on Cartoon Network anymore. Oh my God. What am I going to do? You can do it yourself. That's too hard. From boom to pullback. All right, this is where the rude awakening is going to come in to
Some
play.
people, there should have been a pull out, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. So this is where the rude awakening is going to come into play, because all these people went to school thinking they were going to be the next Rebecca Sugar, and that was a certain time, certain place, is not going to happen again.
Mm-mm.
I mean, we've got N.D. Stevenson, She-Ra showrunner. Well, one, She-Ra's been dumped off of Netflix completely, but they're doing prose books now. They're not even doing graphic novels. Like, it's weird. The shift follows a rapid rise and reversal in streaming's push into kids' content. The streamers created a big bubble because they needed to compete, but that kind of ended. Oh my God.
Well, no, I remember what happened too. Besides, they all were starting to greenlight their streaming services. We talked about this at length. During the pandemic, the only things that could still get done was animation. Because there people had their computers at home, they could still work on projects, but everything that was live action was at a standstill. So the geniuses at Hollywood decided, hey, let's go greenlight a bunch of animation. But they greenlit this animation later in 2020 and into 2021 when people were already going back to work because the pandemic was already winding down. And by the time it got put through, we're coming into 2022, 2023, and no one watched this shit because they were back to work and they weren't watching it. And it didn't matter now. And a lot of stuff they picked was terrible stuff. And then it collapsed.
Yep. And that's it. And they got a lot of blowback, I think, from parents and stuff too, because once parents realized, what kind of content was being greenlit as children's content.
Yes.
During that period.
That is true also, yes.
And like half the shows on Netflix, I'm just saying. So children's programming, she said, has not provided a consistent driver of subscriptions, prompting platforms to narrow their strategies and reduce risk. At the same time, linear television continues to erode. Linear networks are losing their viewership because kids aren't watching television. So no Disney Channel, no Cartoon Network, no Nickelodeon. That's why they're contracting. Like less than 100,000 people watch Cartoon Network now.
It's a completely different landscape. But what they are watching is independent stuff. And then we talked about that at length, that there was a study done and the people that was their target demographic are now watching more and more independent shows on different places, streaming or YouTube or whatever, than they are the mainstream streamers shows there. And you're talking, these are little kid shows. And again, Cocomelon came from YouTube.
Yes, it did. And so did Glitch with Amazing Digital Circus.
I would say Blippi was also off of YouTube.
Yeah, don't look up his really early stuff though.
This is good. I knew you were gonna make a joke about that.
Yes, he pooped in his friend's mouth. And I think they have a different Blippi.
Okay, I don't literally, when you say that out loud, I literally gag. So I don't want to puke on camera or on video. So
kid-friendly human centipede. Yeah. Anyway, the result is a tighter financing environment for producers, particularly for original IP. And this is probably why this probably explains on some level why, we talked about N.D. Stevenson, why She-Ra was basically another show with a coat of She-Ra paint, because the show Stevenson wanted to make probably wasn't going to get picked up, but we could pick up She-Ra and then put all those themes into the show. And to
Stevenson's credit, what they pitched for the She-Ra show was not what got put out there. It was more like the original
very weird.
Show.
The pitch looked like She-Ra.
Yeah.
It was.
If they had done that show, we would have been good.
It was weird. So it said the gatekeepers are under pressure. They said the shift challenges how projects are getting made and who gets to decide. Why is it that this select group of executives get to decide what all of the kids in the entire world get to watch. This is a person from Glitch. She went from Warner Brothers to Glitch online platform. She argued are opening alternative routes, allowing creators to reach audiences directly and build shows around specific communities rather than broad demographic targets. There's a whole culture of indie animators making a living, and they own their IP.
No shit. You don't say. Wow. And they're acting like this person's a genius. Like, we said this before. Glitch was like really that important. We've been telling you. We have been telling you.
Let's see.
We're terrible. What do we know? Apparently a fucking lot.
Glitch is breaking the rules for what a YouTube business is and what a YouTube business can be. And then people get pissed off, though, when everything isn't for free on YouTube. But I digress. But they said, yeah, get that. They said, here's the traditional pipeline being upended. They said, you get the fan base first, you get the validation, you get the capital. So basically, you have to build the audience on your own. And then somebody will come in and maybe give you money to take it to the next level.
You know, that sounds very vaguely familiar. I think we've mentioned it, I don't know, a dozen times, at least.
Neither speaker suggested legacy studios will disappear, right? But as commissioning slows and risk tightens, creators who can build and sustain their own audiences and retain control of their IP are gaining leverage. It's about the creators being able to own their destiny. So basically,
Sorry.
Did you just hit the mic?
Not on purpose.
You're banging your head. She's banging her head off the table. Yeah, I know. It's a little frustrating, but it also feels good, man. It feels good to have people that worked in the industry for a long time say the same things that we've known to be true for several years now.
We don't know anything because we're just ones that wish we could do animation, and we're just upset, and that's why we say the things we say, even though we had stuff optioned. But what do we fucking know?
What do we fucking know? We just talk to people in the industry all the time. What do we fucking know? Yeah, so this is the reality, right? The reason these people are mad is because they don't have a lot of them. They don't have what it takes to build something from the ground up. They expect to have a job at the cartoon factory, and they're going to go to school and go to the cartoon factory and work in the cartoon factory forever and get a cartoon watch when they're done.
Well, no, they're going to be given their own show. Which is
they're going to be given their own show.
They're going to work there, and then when they move up, they're going to put all their Tumblr, stuff as a show, and they're going to get it greenlit because they're them. And they have the right opinions and the right thoughts, and they deserve it because they're there and they're them.
Yeah, it's over. That whole period is over. Animation is expensive as hell, and it's time consuming, and it's a huge risk for studios, and they're not going to put any more money into your therapy, your fan fiction. It's not going to happen, right? And I'm sorry if that depresses you. Go make your own shit. Oh, is that a lot of work?
No, I can't. I have no words anymore.
So
I have words, but they're not going to be pretty.
We'll talk about this here real quick. So Reed Hastings is stepping down from the board of Netflix in June. After 3 decades guiding the company from DVD by mail novelty into a global streaming powerhouse, he leaves behind a business that reshaped distribution for better or for worse, or both. So Cartoon Brew says, in the world of animation, Hastings' legacy is more about strategy than direct creative involvement. He did not come up through animation, nor was he closely tied to their output. He consistently prioritized animation, though, in Netflix's long-term roadmap. In 2021, he outlined an ambition for Netflix to compete directly with Walt Disney Company in animation, framing the medium as central to subscriber growth, global reach, and repeat engagement. And that just went poof.
Well, I was just like, where are the people screaming that he isn't from animation? He's just jealous that he didn't get to be an animator?
Oh, he's just jealous he can't draw. Yeah. So during his tenure, Netflix expanded aggressively into animation, backing both feature films and series while pursuing partnerships with established creators and studios. The output has varied in quality and impact, but the scale of investment helped accelerate a broader shift towards streaming-first animation. Shift opened new pathways for talent and diversified where animated projects could originate. The shift did not come without drawbacks. Layoffs and cancellations and numerous turbulent productions were frequent. Netflix has also been a source of scorn for fans of theatrical distribution. And they haven't really done well with a lot of its originals.
But they did great with K-pop Demon Hunters, just saying.
Yeah, so Hastings consistently reinforced animation as a strategic pillar, and that legacy appears likely to remain in supportive hands. Current co-CEO Ted Sarandos has regularly spoken glowingly about the company's animation, including K-pop Demon Hunters, Leo, and the Sea Beast. So here's the thing, though. This could hasten the, I guess, the demise of original streaming content with him gone if it's not as important. Because what's going to happen is the takeaway is going to be with Sarandos is like, well, Sony did K-pop Demon Hunters. We can just let them animate stuff.
Well, that's what they're going to do. And that's what they did do for a long time. Is they would get their stuff on Netflix, but you'd have to pay for at least most of it yourself. And then they would put it on their service, but you'd have to pay for it. And but that's the same. I think that's still what's going on now. Independents can do it, but you're going to have to pay for it and then get it distributed.
And that's what they're saying. They're saying you have to build your own audience first. And then if you get like an A24 or something to come in and give you some money to take it to the next level. But just be aware that the people in the animation industry, like, God, they're vicious. Like, even when they work on other people's productions, they're constantly out there like backstabbing each other on Blue Sky and Reddit and, complaining about the working conditions and like, oh my God, guys, I had to work today. I don't want to.
I know. Well, it's not as bad as people that used to be on Twitter. Like, I took mental health month.
I took a mental health month. Yeah. I worked my 2 hours today. I'm good. That's ew, icky work. So I think I'm going to save a lot of this information on the people losing their houses in Hollywood. I mean, it sucks, but we're seeing a contraction all the way around. Yeah. So I guess my thing is like, if you're moving to, and we have people do this, if you're moving to Burbank or Glendale with the intention of working in the animation industry and getting that watch at the end of your 40-year career, you got another thing coming. You're going to have to do it yourself, probably.
Well, this is why I've been telling people, like, if you can find another job in a similar field with what you have, you might be better off to do that. Or, if you're doing animation, for example, you technically could do it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
You don't have to live there. Yeah, sorry.
There you go.
That's okay.
Wrap it up. We're wrapping it up.
I have a head injury now, so.
Yeah, I know, right? Geeky bashed your brains in.
Look, see?
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.